So when you start with offensive line prospects, really how does your checklist go?
Yeah, I think, the first thing, and I guess specifically to tackles, and we're going to get in that conversation, them, I would go more of length, anchor, and feet are the most important things to me, right? And probably length, probably in that order, honestly.
Okay.
Right? Maybe anchor, then length. Those are the top two things. Feet is third for me. And the tackle has to see different types of animals come off the edge. I'm saying that with the most respectful way. Where, you 1 week it's Micah Parsons, and holy shit, he's so fast. And then the next week, it's wait, they're playing Chris Jones at DN today, or they're playing DeForest Buckner at DN, and it's a 295-pound guy that it's not about speed, and he's just going to try to overpower you all the time.
Max Longarm.
Or Khalil
right
Max Longarm. Right.
Yeah.
So you have to have a little more versatility in who you can block at tackle.
Your number one tackle gets a tier all by himself.
I'm giving him by himself here.
All by himself.
Yep.
And I think the best part is he has played left tackle in college, but his final year in college, he played right tackle.
Right.
And he's your number one guy, and that is.
Yes. It is Darnell Wright from Tennessee, right? I'm interested to hear what you have to say about him here too. But one, I'm again, anybody that knows me, I'm a little bit of a lover of the big guy at this position. I love, this is like, length is not super long as compared to what we've seen some tackles and the elite tackles in football have, but the feet are good, and they're not greasy good. But it's the power and strength that I'm a believer in. That's what I love. There's two things that I love about Darnell Wright. You're not going to win the power rush against him. Speed to power.
Can't get through him.
You're not going to get through him. Even when one of the last lines I wrote about the guy, even when he loses, he wins. Right? And what I mean by that is every now and then somebody will get the edge on him, and you go, oh, Mo, he's going to let somebody up. And he somehow gets him to the ground or has some quick move that gets him out of trouble or whatever. But I loved his anchor, okay? And then I loved, out of all the tackles, I think he was the best at just overpowering people in the run game and digging people out. Like, you're in front of me. I'm going to dig you out, mano-y-mano here, and I'm going to move you backwards. So that's where I like Darnell Wright, and that's why he's my number one tackle. Ultra athlete. I mean, great base. Really, has the exact look you want for left tackle. I mean, he's pretty perfect looking.
Yeah. No bad weight is what I wrote down right away.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like broad shoulders. He's got a little waist, and then, whoa, what a great pair of legs and ass he's got, as far as an offensive lineman goes that way. This is a guy that, I honestly did write down. I wrote, got a body and a power look to him that reminded me of a Tristan Wirfs, right? But he's got, I think, maybe more length than Wirfs. I'm not even sure. It's right around that. Okay. It's right around that area there. But 6'5", 311,
he does.
34 3/4, right? Does he have
Wirfs
more
was
length?
34 inches.
He was 34, so he had a little bit more that way. And again, he has a great natural anchor, and again, I'm into that. You're going to be blocking TJ Watts of the world. You got to worry about, hey, oh no, he's about to go around the edge on me. Oh no, he's smashing his head into my chest now, and I got to make sure he doesn't push me back into my quarterback. So he was just a natural in that department, and a natural in that department without really even knowing how to, I think, use his hands and feet the proper way yet.
Chris, I completely agree.
So,
he throws wide hands all the time.
All the time. Or doesn't even at times punch people to stop the momentum, right? So that would be the other thing. But to me, that's a positive. I don't go like that's an easy thing to learn.
He's a one-year starter.
Right. So it's easy to learn that. All the tools are there. The athleticism's there. The power's there. He's good in space again. He's twitchy and explosive off the ball. And he has an edge when he plays too.
Sure.
Again, I'm big into that too. I am. We're not here to play patty cake. You're playing defensive linemen in the NFL, and they're assholes. So you better be an asshole back if you want to win some of these battles. And, I thought Broderick Jones had a little of that in him that I loved.
There are things he needs to clean up, but just the look of him, it screams franchise tackle.
The look, the length.
That's it.
So
Arms down to the ground.
The length, and then he's got more of the feet you like to see than the other two guys. His feet are better than the other two guys. I want to make that clear here. It is. And so you're saying it right. To me, it's a little bit of what you're seeing here, and if you're watching on our NBC YouTube page here and watching this, he's a little long and linear. Right? It's the power aspect that makes him number 3 for me. This stuff, though, is greasy. I mean, he moves at a high level. He is a high-level athlete. So that's the thing you like about him, all right? And then, he did have a pretty good bucket step in that. His pass pro mechanics, I thought he was a little more advanced than the two guys in front of us, really, in a lot of ways, which is I can see, again, why you'd make him your number 1 guy. He knows how to punch to stop and stun the rush. Anchor is pretty good, and Anchor good, too. What I like about him is, like, we talk about the hips again. He's got great hips. That's why he is such a great athlete.
Especially for a guy that's almost,
six and a half.
Right. His ability in the zone running game, it looks like a tight end running.
Right.
And it's not always perfect. I think sometimes he can lunge. I think he is tall, so he needs to learn how to get under.
Lower.
He does not
get
low.
He's got to move his legs on contact
But
more.
the mentality is there.
Yes.
There is a mentality there that I really, really liked. And I poked around with an offensive line coach asking, which interviews did you like? Which guy you think will really take to coaching and grow? And he was like, it's Paris Johnson.
When you watch him and you go, okay, whoa, I get it. This is a franchise left tackle. Here he is. 6'4", 315, 34 and an 1/8 inch arms, right? The thing that, thick, girth, good legs like that, long arms, all of that. I wish he had a little bit more of a butt. I will say that. Even looking at his seat, I felt like he was a little knock-kneed. I get into like kind of the build of the body to almost paint a picture for my brain too, so I remember, right? Again, I like the athlete. I like the ability to anchor. I like the length. I don't love. I should say I like the straight-ahead athlete. I don't know if I love the overall athlete.
And he ran a great 40. Like great sub 5 seconds.
He can go forward. Every question I had about him, and I don't have any questions really either or two about like, hey, he can handle speed to power. He's going to be able to anchor and do that, right? It's not perfect or as good as the guys we talked about before, right? But like, he does have a deficiency in hip or getting low. He's never low. In fact, I mean, one of the first things I wrote, he barely looks like he can get in his stands at times. Like he can't even get down there in an athletic position. And then I felt like you see that in some of course, the run blocking, right? But then also some of that hipness, and I thought his ability to mirror pass rushers was less than some of the other guys.
I agree.
He could get leaned one way and he can't recover, like to your point of the second phase, right? I felt like there was a lot of that. Or get into like a wrestling match with a guy and get off balance, and he doesn't win it all the time. So that's where he becomes in tier 3 and is not quite, I don't see him quite the way I see those top 3 guys. I mean, his ability in the run game is, I think, pretty damn special, right? And I'm talking about more some of the advanced stuff maybe than, like Darnell Wright is not going to be as good at getting the second level or pulling on the edge as this guy, right? That's where he was really good. Now, balance, okay, with the tall guy, again, this is why he's number 5. He's got a little of that like Anton Harrison. If he gets knocked off the edge or whatever, he can lose balance that way, But, like, I was kind of impressed with the anchor as I went on and on. I just went, man, like I was expecting anchor to be bad. So far, pretty good. He's got a good punch. He closes the gap really well because he's such a great athlete that when he knows he's got to go out and kick out to the end, he doesn't let the end get 5 yards or 6 yards of running room to go, I'm going to get the full speed so I can smash you. He closes that gap and stops it. So while they're in the process of building momentum, they get smushed that way. I really love that aspect about him very much.
So your top 5 offensive tackles, number 1 was Darnell Wright in his own tier. Tier 2 had both Broderick Jones at number 2 and Paris Johnson Jr. at 3. Tier 3 was Anton Harrison at 4 and Blake Freeland at 5. I think the one guy people will wonder about will be DeJuan Jones from Ohio State, who played across from Paris Johnson. Very unique in terms of his size, as you see Simms' top 5 here. Did not test well, obviously, at that size, but somebody that probably is bound to be a top 50 to top 60 pick.
I don't doubt that. I don't. I just didn't quite think, I think with him is just was a little too all over the place for everything. Yeah. And maybe not quite as dominant as I was expecting, I
thought that in the run game.
Definitely.
Like, I was hoping for Mekhi Becton.
I thought I was going to see Trent Brown. I thought I was going to see that.
Yeah, guys that are in that size profile,
not at
6'8",
all.
375.
It was a little of that, a little too much on the ground, a little too off balance in pass protection. There's potential here for this guy. And I like these kind of big right? I didn't love the way this big is built, though. Yo, thanks for watching, homies. It's the off season, but there's no off season for us here at Unbuttoned. Me, Ahmed Fareed, we're going to hit all the stories. So hit subscribe for us, okay? We got a ton coming up. My draft prospect rankings, my Simms top 40 quarterback countdown, and videos of me and NFL QBs playing catch and talking about their development and mechanics. Again, thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe. Peace out, homies. See you soon.